Hello and welcome back to another Star Wars Legion video. Today I'm just going to be going over the changes that they've made to some of the points as well as the rulebook, and what's going on with them, and does this really affect power level of certain factions or not. So just to get into it, we'll go over the changes of points. Here we have the Rebel Alliance. We can see that the speeder truck or the bus is going up by 10 points back to 75. Some of its upgrades are going down in points while the unstable astromech is going up in points. Fleet Trooper Squad upgrade for the Fleet Troopers is going down by 5 points. The Mark II Medium Blaster is going up by 2 points. The GH447 Sniper is going down by 3 points. The Rebel Trooper Squad is going down by 5 points for the Rebel Troopers there. Overall, the squad's points going down I don't think is going to really affect too much. I think they're trying to incentivize more people taking them, even though they're a heavy point investment. But for Rebels, it's probably not going to change too much in my opinion. Again, I don't play competitively, so they're not kind of flashy unless I'm building around the unit. I don't really care too much about that. It is nice having the extra 5 points in other places. The sniper for the commandos going down by 3 points is nice because overall right now snipers are, or like generally range troops are not as good as troops that get into that range 1 or 2 sweet range, and I like to say that 3 points is going to be enough to take the sniper and get value out of it, but it is 3 points, so like we'll see. I just don't see it being too impactful right now with just 3 points. Same with the Mark II Medium Blaster going up by 2 points. It's those like little point adjustments to me don't really matter as a casual player, and maybe in like the competitive scene, more competitive people are going to look at the sniper or the medium blaster and be like, oh, I'm not going to take the medium blaster now because I'm at full points capacity, and this or the sniper, I'm just like, now I can take it because I have a spare 3 points. But I don't know, I just don't see it being that impactful in my play. While like generally impactful in my play is the 5 to 10 points changes that they made with the bus and the squads. I'm probably more likely to take a squad since I might have a little bit more points extra and just don't know what to do with them. And for the bus, I think it's a good change because the bus is one of the better units for the Rebels overall, so I think it's a good change. Moving on to the Galactic Empire, they have a lot of their units going down, and it's just because they're not very viable. They're a lot weaker than most of the other factions. I would still say they're probably the weakest faction before this change. They only have one thing that is going up in points, and that's the CR-24 flame rifle for the dewback, which makes sense, especially with like Rebels and Separatists getting a slight nerf in this. They probably want to combat that, and Rebels and Separatists are the strongest factions from the last patch that we saw, so we'll see how that extra 4 points is just de-incentivizing probably to take that, because the flame rifle is really only good, like flamethrower is only good against big squads, which you're really only taking in Rebels and Separatists, especially Separatists, since they get 6 for their core versus the 4 that everyone else gets. Fifth Brother goes down by 8 points. I think that's a great change. I thought he was a little overcosted for what he did, especially now with the like customizable units being in play. Like the Gar one especially, I think just outshadows Fifth Brother, and I think it's around dish the same points. It's a little bit more, but I'd rather take that. And I know it's not an Empire Force, but also I'm kind of biased because I like the Gar. Dark Troopers, all their upgrade for their troops go down. I believe it's all of the extra ones you get. Yep, they all go down. I don't like seeing this change because I dreaded playing against Dark Troopers. Whenever we were first starting up the game, it's a unit that my buddy got early on, and it was just very strong and very hard to beat. I had to basically build an army. If I knew he was taking Empire, I had to build an army around just destroying that one squad. And this is like back before all the rule changes. So like in their peak, where they're just oppressive, in my opinion, especially for casual play. However, they have been just super weak and not worth their points, so I like seeing them go down in points overall, and you get an extra like 20-ish points if you fully upgrade a Dark Trooper squad there. Could be nice. Maybe not an extra 20, because I forgot how many upgrades they get. I think they get 2 heavies plus a personnel, but I haven't played with them in a while because they've been just so bad. Death Troopers upgrade going down by 2 points, I think, is a huge Empire win. I've talked about the Death Troopers in the past. I think they're one of the strongest special forces, if not the strongest special forces in the Empire's arsenal, and just in the Empire's arsenal for like a normal troop. I think they're just very strong overall. So I really like that they get an upgrade that's a little bit cheaper, and you might want to look at if you want to take those. Imperial Special Forces, again, they need to compete a little bit more with the Death Troopers. So their points going down even more now is better. The LAT going down in points is also just really solid. Moff going down, again, it will help the Dark Trooper support, especially by 20 points. And I think it's because he's more of a support commander. You're not really running Moff to kill people. Even with the Dark Saber, he's still more of a support commander in my opinion, since he's not going to be the best at killing. You have other units in Empire that are better at that melee combat that I'd rather run into melee. Scout Trooper upgrade going down again. This is just the same sniper conversation we had up with the Rebels. Snipers have just not been great in the last patch, so we'll see. Seven Sisters, the same as the Fifth Brother, except for a little bit weaker in my opinion. And I honestly, I would still take, I would take Fifth Brother over her any day of the week. And it's not even like a points thing. I just think he's better overall. Like hits and rage ability plus RAM. It's just really solid synergy there. While the Seven Sisters is like a weaker version of most Force users, in my opinion. Now, of course, you should be taking them together and some armies, but sometimes I just take Fifth Brother by himself. So it's nice to see her get a point reduction too. Snow Trooper squad goes down by 6 points again. It's just another squad. So it is what it is. The Gav tank, this is not one that I've actually played with, so I don't know how the upgrades on it going down in points is going to affect playability. It's just a unit I don't have. I don't have every unit in the game, so like there's some that I'm just missing. And I do proxy to play with some. Like the customizable Jedis I've proxied before they've come out and bought them, just to play with them, because I like playing with the new stuff and I like playing with general stuff. The Gav tank has just not been one that I've been interested in playing, so I've never taken it. Mostly because it's not as iconic as like the ATST, and I play more casual, so like eventually I'll get around to playing the Gav tank, but it's just we're going to the Galactic Republic. They only have a few points reductions. Their marksman squad goes down by 20 points. I think this just speaks to, again, range in the game before this point upgrade has not been great. So they're trying to incentivize people to take more of those range units, and the Clone Trooper Marksmen are your range core unit that has a longer range than your regular core unit, Clone Trooper core unit. So they want you to be able to take it, and I think its first costing of 73 points is ridiculous. But yeah, and then we got the Clone Infantry squad also going down by 3. The Clone's Marksman regular point value also goes down by 8. Again, it's just the range talk. Sadly, their sniper in the Clone army does not go down, because it'd probably be too strong with the new Marksman or with the ARF troopers overall. because I think the Republic does range shooting outside of range 2 the best, in my opinion, since they have Echo and the ARF troopers and just stuff like that. It's just a lot better overall for ranged combat, and you can support your ranged troopers a little bit more with the Republic. So nerfing the marksman, even with that 20-point reduction on their squad, might be a little too much, but we'll see. We'll see. They might have to correct it in the future if it gets too strong there. Separatist Alliance, the AAT battle tank goes down. I absolutely rate this tank in the Separatist Alliance. I think it's one of the most slept on units in the Separatists, just because of all of its keywords and abilities that it has. It's just a very solid. You want something that can kill Force users at range, this is it. It has high velocity main weapon that you can attack the same Force user twice because it has the barrage keyword. Just very good. Aqua droids going up by 13 points of needed change, and hopefully that is enough to combat how strong they are. I think it will be. I don't think they're that oppressive. Again, I play casually though, so like we'll see. The RPS 6 Magna Guard going down by 8 points is another nice change. Another needed one, honestly, because I never took it. I took Electro Whip guy over him anytime. As we see here, the same speeder truck upgrades and downgrades that the Rebels have, the mercenaries get, because it's just the same unit basically, except for it's in the mercenary army. The Electro Gauntlets of Cad Bane going down by 7 points is a nice change. Did I miss that in the Separatists? Oh, I guess he's just he doesn't count as this because he is a mercenary. That makes sense. I'm just confused on how they separated him, I guess. You can take him in Separatists, and that's where I take him the most. It goes down by 7 points. I think that's very solid, and I honestly really rated the Electro Gauntlets before. I think they're very niche, but they're really good, again, at locking down some Force wielders. Gar Saxon needed to go down in points. He kind of was terrible. Ewok Slingers going up in points, probably also needed, honestly. Yeah. Down here we have some card errata that I want to go over. That's all about the mercenaries. The first one, the mortar trooper for the DF90 mortar weapons attack dice is now 2 black dice instead of 3 white is what it was before. We'll get into why they changed that in just a second. General Grievous now has or Wheelbike Warlord now has a unique bullet next to the names, so you can't take 2 of him. They changed some of this. They're probably old, but they changed I Am the Jedi to Jedi Knight. I think those are older changes. And then you can see all the command card changes down there, or remove card changes down there, which are all old, I believe. But let's look at the rulebook changes. One that I found interesting was they changed some attack timing, and it's because of some new keywords that they introduced, and a change to a keyword that's pretty important. And they've added upgrading or downgrading attack dice, and then the attacker downgrades, the defender downgrades, and the attacker upgrades, and then the defender upgrades. So I'm really curious why the defender would upgrade attack dice. I don't know why that was a needed step, but it's in there. So the attacker downgrading is a trigger that we'll get into a little bit whenever we get into the keywords. And the defender downgrading sounds like it's going to be pretty fun whenever they introduce keywords that actually do that. Again, with the roll defensive dice, it has the same steps. It has gather defense dice, upgrade or downgrade defense dice. You got attacker downgrade, and then defender downgrades, and then attacker upgrades and defender upgrades. So a little bit stronger for the defender on both there. Oh, well, not really on the attack dice. Again, I don't know why the attacker. But as you can see here in this blurb, it says upgrading and downgrading dice. Some effects will instruct players to upgrade or downgrade a unit's attack or defense dice when a die is upgraded or downgraded is removed from the attack or defense pool, and the corresponding die it has or it was upgraded or downgraded to is added. If the color of the die being upgraded or downgraded is not specified by the effect, the player controlling that effect may choose which dice are upgraded or downgraded. A dice can't be upgraded or downgraded more than once by the same effect. When upgrading an attack dice, a white die will change to a black die, and a black dice will change to a red die, and a red die can't go above for attack dice. When downgrading attack dice, red die, again, just same order, red to black, black to white, and white can't be downgraded. And then same thing with defensive dice, you upgrade a white defense to a red, red can't be upgraded, and you'll downgrade a red defensive to a white, and white can't be downgraded. There's more of that on roll defensive dice, so more in-depth explanation there. We're going to get to the keywords real fast. Again, there's that attack timing. Command vehicle is in the rule book, and they've added, like I said, a few other or ones that we knew about from like General Grievous's wheel bike. They corrected their mistake that was in their article for mobile, where it just said it would take a free compulsory action. It now says free compulsory move action. If you're wondering what the difference between mobile and speeder is, mobile does the same thing as speeder, except for speeder has a few more bonuses. Since it's a hover vehicle, it will be able to go over certain heights, while mobile will not. And that is really the main difference between them. It's the only important difference you need to know. As you can see here, speeder makes more than one blah blah blah. And here, yeah, it's just the same. I was trying to find it, but here are the 3 new weapon keywords I want to go over. One is anti-material X, one is anti-personal X, and one is cumbersome. We're going to get into cumbersome because that's the one that really matters right now, since some units already have cumbersome, like the mortar unit. Cumbersome, when a unit adds a weapon with the cumbersome keyword to an attack pool, it downgrades each of that weapon's attack dice if that unit has made a move during that same activation. I think this is a great change. As we saw in that last Errata reference, they changed the DF90 mortar to 2 black dice instead of 3 white, and that is because of this change. So when you move that mortar, if that mortar unit is in that unit, it's just going to downgrade each of that weapon's attack dice to white for that DF90 mortar. So instead of black, it'll have 2 white, and then you can attack, which is way nicer than just not being able to attack at all and having to sit there. So I honestly really rate that change. But the other 2 keywords are what I find very interesting, because I don't think we've seen any leaks, and I could be wrong. I have been terrible at keeping up with what's going on with Legion recently, just life getting in the way and stuff like that. So maybe we've seen some keywords on some cards that have been spoiled, but I have not. So I just really like this change. That's where the upgrade downgrade comes in, and that's anti-material X, and this is when a unit makes an attack against that has an anti-material X keyword, and the attack pool of the defending unit is a vehicle, you're going to upgrade X of that weapon's attack dice, which is just very nice, especially for people with like impact. So imagine if Darth Maul had anti-material. He goes to melee and AAT battle tank. He has 4 white, 4 red normally. If he had anti-material 2, you'd be able to upgrade 2 of those white dice into black dice. So you then would be rolling 2 white, 2 black, and 4 red, which will just give you more of a chance to roll hits, which will then get converted because of impact into crits, so that you can kill that tank a little bit better. Now, Darth Maul is not the best one, but like even like your clone troopers, who all roll black dice, if they had anti-material upgrade for like equipment or something, then they would be able to turn some of their white dice into hits, and then if they had impact, they could turn those hits into crits, and it's just very nice for that aspect. Anti-personnel is the same way, except for it's against trooper units, and it's probably way stronger than material, since most vehicles in the game, or I believe all vehicles in the game, have some version of armor 1 or 2 or 3. So it's a little bit less useful against vehicles, in my opinion, since you have the same rate of rolling crits on each dice, so it doesn't really matter if you're rolling white versus black versus red versus the vehicle unless that unit has impact, while anti-personnel, most personnel does not have armor, so rolling extra hits by upgrading the dice matters a lot more on those. So I am really excited for anti-personnel. And just to show you the rest of the keywords, there's no other changes that I saw. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm still working on getting all of my stuff about Tours of Duty ready, so look forward to that whenever it comes out. It's just a lot of work to get it to make sense for a video. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!